Hello, I am Tristan Van Fossen.
And I'm Amanda Malarick. We're both students in the Grand Valley Computer Science program and the team behind the Fortress application.
Today we will be giving a short walkthrough of our high-fidelity prototype. Fortress is an application designed to help users build pillow forts and provide extended functionality. For example, this comes in one form as an augmented reality game.
Fortress makes use of a variety of tools to simplify the user's experience, ranging from a fort store to step-by-step instructions for building the fort. Keep in mind, while we walk through the application, that it's only a prototype and still has much work and polishing before it becomes a finished product. The first thing the user is asked to do is to log in or register. The login process begins by pressing the login button. This then brings you to a screen where you will enter in your username and password. Once complete, simply press login. The registration process is started by pressing the register button on the startup page. There are two options here: continuing with Facebook or using an email, username, and password to create an account. The user types in the necessary information, clicks I am not a robot button, and presses sign up.
The next task to be shown is the account information page. This can be found under the hamburger menu in the top left corner of the screen. By selecting account details, you can view the current information that's stored for the user. By selecting edit, you can change the user information, such as the username, or the password, or the email, to a different field of your choosing. The next bit of information to be found in the application is the About page. This can also be found in the top left hamburger menu. By selecting About, this will show details about the development of the application and its intended purposes.
To view achievements, click the Achievements button on the user's homepage. This brings you to a page with various achievements. Clicking on an achievement brings up some details of why the achievement was received. To download a user-submitted fort design, press Fort Store on the home page. Then select a fort and press the download arrow icon. Once downloading is complete, the red dot next to the fort will be green, and the download arrow will be an X for uninstall. A user can save a specific fort to their favorites by going into the Fort Store, selecting a fort, and clicking the star icon. This will add the fort to their Saved tab under Fort Store. When the user selects the star icon again, the fort is unfavorited after a confirmation. While in the Fort Store, there are three tabs. One is used to filter out forts based off of materials the user has. Click the Filtered tab and click New Filter. Enter in any number of pillows, chairs, and couches you may have and click Update Filter. This will show a list of forts available.
The next task to be completed is viewing previously built forts. This can be done from the main page and selecting previous builds. From there, you can select several different forts that you've saved in the past into this section. You can select one specifically to obtain a picture that you have previously saved. The most important task to be covered in this application is the Build New Fort, the primary function of the application itself. This can be found on the main page at the bottom by selecting Build New Fort. The user is then prompted to select from several different difficulties ranging from easy to hard, as well as a custom difficulty selection. In this case, we will select Custom. The custom fort is one that the user has previously downloaded in the Fort Store, demonstrated earlier in the application. By selecting the fort, a drop-down menu will show that will prompt the user for various build materials or to confirm that they want to build the fort. Finally, we will demonstrate how to sign out from your current account. This can also be found under the top left hamburger menu. And then by selecting Sign Out, you'll be returned to the main start page that the application will show on startup.
Through user testing of the tasks we just stepped through, we were able to obtain several measurable metrics. For example, we took the ideal number of clicks that we as the developers could obtain and added 3 in order to allow for some error with first-time users.
There was one task that had a higher error rate than the others, this being the user attempt at filtering forts in the store. This may have been due to the wording of the question or that the feature had visibility issues.
With rewording of the question, this will be resolved in future user testing. Another test we had was average time to complete the task. As with the average first click, the filter task also had the longest time taken of any of the tasks.
This confirms the results of the average first click testing. These were the most significant data points from the evaluation results and tell us that an improvement to the fort store filtering needs to be made. During the high fidelity testing phase, we noticed that the users struggled with a few key parts of the Fortress experience. The confusion around these parts led us to intervene and help get the user back on track with the task assigned. The task of looking at the user's achievements and seeing details about the achievement for level 1 proved to be a challenge. While we as developers found the icon for level 1 to be very easy to distinguish, as shown on your screen, metal with the number 1, we assumed too much about the user. The user's feedback was helpful in that they wanted descriptions below the icons. This was added and can now be shown on your screen. While we as developers found the icon for level 1 to be very easy to distinguish, we assumed too much about the users. This icon is shown on the screen as a small medal with the number 1 in it. The user feedback was helpful in that they wanted descriptions below the icons. This change was made as shown here.
More confusion came when we asked the user to download a fort from the fort store. The icons in question here were the 3 under everyone's favorite. It was not intuitive that a checkmark icon meant download. To correct the confusion, a small arrow icon for download was added in its place. This new icon is more recognizable as an icon for downloading across most platforms the user may encounter. The checkmark icon is still made use of in the Build New Fort section, as the checkmark is a distinguishable confirmation icon. This hopefully will resolve the issue in future user testing as the application becomes more polished.
Potentially the easiest place for the users in the test group to get lost was finding the materials needed to build everyone's favorite fort. The current screen capture shows an icon that does not look like any materials icon the user was familiar with, making the user go back to the main menu or looking elsewhere.
Upon further feedback, we changed the icon to a small wheelbarrow with materials in it. This clever icon should clear up confusion as it is a more universal way to convey where your building materials are. The implementation of the new icon can be seen above next to the original cloud design.
To conclude, Fortress is an app that still needs much improvement, but has come a long way from the original prototypes. The tasks can be continually refined over time to improve usability and experience. The overall concept of the app can still be improved as user testing continues. For example, as we have waited on an augmented reality portion of the application to have a better baseline, future user testing on the prototype will focus more on the Build New Fort section as well as potential additions for social media support.
From the learnings that we have made thus far, we can improve user testing in the future. For example, we found that simpler designs with less information displayed was easier for users to navigate and understand. Another example case to keep in mind is around older demographics that may not as be comfortable with technology. The design should be built around them rather than the younger demographics that are more familiar and adapt more rapidly to new technology.
Thanks for watching.
Good afternoon, and in case I don't see you, good evening and good night.